Samsung has a big challenge on its hands. Not only does it have to convince people that the new Galaxy Note 8 here is actually safe to use considering last year's battery issues, but that it's worth paying the eye-watering £869 or $930 price tag, which is around 90 more than the S8 Plus, and especially given the strong competition from the upcoming LG V30 and of course the new iPhone. So I've been using the Note 8 as my main phone since it launched. I have to say, I actually really like it. I was initially put off by the idea of a huge 6.3-inch phone, but the Note 8 with its stunning Infinity Edge screen and 83% screen to body ratio means it's actually about the same size as the 5.5-inch iPhone 7 Plus or Sony Xperia XZ Premium. In terms of design, the Note 8 is just basically a slightly bigger S8 Plus, although we are only talking about a 0.1-inch screen size difference. The Note 8 is almost 200 grams though, that's 20 grams heavier and also half a mil thicker than the S8 Plus. And they do feel subtly different in the hand as well. I'd say the S8 with its more rounded corners is a little more comfortable, but there's not much in it. And they are also both IP68 water resistant and use Gorilla Glass 5. But the first time you see or pick up the Note 8, really it's the display that is the highlight of the phone. The 6.3-inch Super AMOLED HDR screen looks stunning. Although the resolution defaults to Full HD Plus to save battery, I would say because of the bigger screen, it is worth pushing it to the full Quad HD Plus resolution to get the full 521 pixels per inch and make it look sharper. But one question I am getting asked a lot is what exactly is the difference between the Galaxy S8, S8 Plus and the new Note 8? Well, aside from the bigger screen, the Note 8 has a second camera, giving you a 2x optical zoom, 6 gigs of RAM, that's up from 4 on the S8, and of course the staple of the Note series, you've got the S Pen stylus. But it's not all good news. The Galaxy Note 8 here actually has a smaller battery than the S8 Plus. We're talking about 3300 milliamps versus 3500 milliamps. And of course, all the new features like the S Pen, the more RAM second camera, are bound to have an impact on battery life. So it is a bit disappointing that the Note 8 comes across as this sort of all singing, all dancing, everything you need in one sort of ultimate smartphone, but it doesn't have a bigger battery that will last you more than a full day or a day and a half. Maybe Samsung are just being a bit cautious given last year's battery fires on the Note 7, but a bigger battery would have been nice to see, especially since I found the S8 Plus lasts around 5% longer, but at least it does support wireless and fast charging. Performance is top notch thanks to the Snapdragon 835 or Exynos 8895 chip, depending on where you live. It'll run any app or game you throw at it from the Google Play Store flawlessly. But since it is using the same processor used in the S8, don't expect the Note 8 to be any faster. Although the Note does have an extra 2 gigs of RAM, which will help with multitasking and using split screen apps, although primarily the extra RAM will be used for the more demanding dual camera processing. Now the camera on the Note 8 is definitely one of the most hyped features. You get the same 12 megapixel camera you get on the S8, plus a second 12 megapixel telephoto lens that gives you 2x optical zoom. And unlike other dual camera phones with telephoto lenses like the iPhone 7 Plus and OnePlus 5, both cameras on the Note 8 come with optical image stabilization, OIS. So even when zoomed in, photos and videos, particularly in 4K, are sharp and blur-free. The cameras are definitely one of the Note's standout features. Not only is image quality very impressive thanks to the wide f1.7 aperture, super fast dual pixel autofocus and excellent HDR, but the new live focus and 2x zoom features are genuinely useful. Live focus, which is basically Samsung's version of a portrait mode, isn't perfect since it doesn't appear to support HDR, so you can get some blown out areas in photos. And sometimes the edge detection isn't quite right, but on the whole it is one of the best portrait modes you can get on a phone and gives your photos a great looking bokeh effect. I always thought portrait modes were a little bit gimmicky, but the Note 8 has kind of changed my mind and I actually find myself using it all the time. The front-facing f1.7 selfie camera is really good too, although again, since it's kind of the same as the S8, don't expect anything different here. And also, I would turn off the beauty modes, which are on by default as it makes it look too soft, but then, in my opinion, pictures look great, and the wide field of view means it's really good for getting group selfies. So the dual camera is one of the Note 8's biggest selling points, but of course, it's the S Pen that the Note series is most famous for. Although I have to be honest that while it does have some cool uses like writing notes while the screen is off, taking lasso screen grabs, and even highlighting text to translate, I actually find myself very rarely using it. The stylus is nice to use. It's even got a little clicker at the top, which doesn't really do anything. And with a new thinner tip and the same 4096 pressure points as the one on the Note 7, you can be very precise with it. But it's more of a cool extra than a must-have feature in my opinion. But you might really like the idea of it, so it could be a good reason to buy it. The Note 8 also supports the Gear VR headset and Samsung's DeX docking station, which actually worked pretty well when I had a go with it at the Note 8's launch event. So the big question, should you buy the Galaxy Note 8? Well, it's tricky because on the one hand, I think this is genuinely the best phone that's launched this year so far, but it is very, very expensive. The dual camera is definitely a reason to buy it, and the S Pen is a nice extra, but that's about it. And if you're not bothered about either, and you still want a big phone with a big screen, the Galaxy S8 Plus is your best bet, and you'll save nearly 100 quid in the process. But then again, if you want the best of the best right now and the money isn't so much of an issue, then I would highly recommend the Note 8. So that's what I think, but what about you? Is it too big? Is it too expensive? Are you going to rush out and get one as soon as you can? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you did enjoy the video, click that like and subscribe button, and I will leave links in the description below if you fancy buying one of these when it comes out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.